Valley, peace that surpasses all understanding. At this time, the family has written some things about their mother. I don't know who all's going to speak. Linda, I believe Gary has something. And Linda, would you like to come and start it and then share with us what?
Well, first off, I want to thank everybody for being here. That's a wonderful family and wonderful friends. Mustang LA family back there, Ron, Peggy, and Joe, thank you so much. I wrote this letter, or note, whatever you want to call it. It literally came to me one morning in a dream, July 22nd, 2014, when I started writing this. And it's just what I felt needed to be said about Mom. The right words are hard to find at the time they're needed. These came to me in an early morning dream on this day, Tuesday, July 22nd, 2014. I don't know why, but it was clear this is what will be needed to say. Mom, the most wonderful and holy word we could say about our mom, Betty Reese. Mom was always such a good and caring person, loved by all of us. Her love for animals and for us was very apparent. Mom would do anything she could to see that we were happy, and don't forget her love for country music, true old classic country music. She could name all the old singers, tell stories about their lives, and tell you what songs made them famous. A lot of you may not know this, but when I was in high school, Mom worked for a radio station in Xenia, Ohio, for a short time. She would go there and pick out the records to be played by the DJ. Because of her hearing, she couldn't go on the air, but she loved just being a part of the music scene. Although I grew up in the world of rock and roll, I always learned to like country music because of Mom. She was always playing country music, and yes, I watched Hee Haw every Saturday night because of Mom. In those days, it wasn't cool to like country music, but we did. You all know we always had dogs. Always. Lots of dogs. Always dogs. And a few cats. More than one at a time, and a couple of cats when we were growing up. Mom took in strays even if she already had some dogs. And she did. She would love and care for them all. Mom was an only child. She spent her summers at my grandma's, my great aunt's farm in Ohio. She had a horse named Jeannie. She and her friends rode their horses all over those country roads. She brought Jeannie back to Lima, where we lived out in the country. You could ride Jeannie and get a good ride. She was a little slow going out to the far end of the field, but then you would turn her around and she'd head back and she would make a beeline back to the barn. Right here.
Better duck when she
Better duck, yeah, because she went in the barn. That was pretty exciting for Gary and I when we were kids. Then years later we had horses again, and Randy and Cindy got to enjoy riding too. My love for horses grew, and I wound up with several of my own, and my kids also enjoyed riding. Again, our love for animals came from Mom. So dogs, cats, horses, rabbits, calves, and even little pet alligators all came home from Mom's love of animals. This just shows everyone the kind heart Mom had. She wouldn't hurt anyone, almost, except for the time the neighbor boy hurt me. Poor little guy would have lost his head if Mom could have caught up with him. Just don't mess with her kids. Mom always had such wonderful friends. Everyone loved being around her. They could tease her and she would laugh. Mom enjoyed fun, dancing, and yes, her music. I was lucky enough to be able to have taken her to Nashville for a few days back in 1998. This is when she was starting to have so much back trouble and having trouble walking very far. I got to take her to the Grand Ole Opry and other Nashville well-known sites, and she was still able to enjoy all of them. I love spending time with Mom and watching her get excited about things she loved, even just watching Days of Our Lives that we watched every day since 1965. In those days, it was on in the afternoon when I got home from high school.
stayed.
I know. Yeah, thanks, Gary. You are still older than
I
I
understand.
If it she wasn't home, she would record it. She'd record that one, Ralph Emery, Crooked Chase, Grand Ole Opry, Dallas Dynasty, Falcon Crest, and you get the picture on that. Now fast forward, last July or so, she was in the hospital again, and we didn't think she was going to make it. She did, and went back to the nursing home and was doing pretty good. I added this next part last August when she was so sick. Alzheimer's is a strange disease. It's hard on those of us that have to watch our loved ones go through it, but in some ways, it's a blessing for them. As Mom progressed, the effects of this disease was apparent, but it got to the point she didn't know us kids. I knew we had to do something. I mean, when Mom didn't remember watching Days of Our Lives, after she just got done watching it with me, I knew there was something wrong. We put her into a nursing home, and then she went to describing me to the nurses as the girl next door that she grew up with. Then it went to not knowing me, not knowing Randy, Gary, Ina, her friends, Carol, any of us. The blessing I mentioned is that by then, she didn't know what was going on. She was happy and content, always smiling at everyone. She would look at you even though I knew she didn't know me and smile. That made it all okay. That was Mom. The hardest part, for me anyway, was that I couldn't carry on a conversation with her about anything. With her hearing gone, and now she just mumbled badly. I couldn't understand her, and she couldn't hear me. But she was happy, and that was all that mattered. Mom is with Cindy, Grandma, and Roy now. She's happy and smiling. Love you, Mom.